Basically, when I'm contacted for a flyer, I always request a photo or photos, preferably recent, preferably without any kind of effects or filters or anything like that. And then, of course, I ask for the missing person's name and age, their height, their weight, their hair color, eye color, last known clothing description if it's known, vehicle description if it's known and applies, when and where they went missing from, the law enforcement agency they filed the missing persons report with, and if I can get it, the case number with that agency. I like to put it on the flyer for reference for anybody that's calling in with information on a missing person. But I can forego it as long as they're on KBI. So, I mean, that helps me out anyway.
He was in the forest looking to see the trees, but none were there. He found a girl, she found the Earl King. They were in the white wood, gambling out to picnic. In the light, leaves broke above, then fell below. I was in the middle ground, looking to find the flowers in the garden, wearying of the hate me not. Wait, they forgot. Whoa, oh, the rot. Deeper in they crept, oblivious of the bears and darker terrors, or none were there. How did they dare? I was in the middle ground, looking to find the fountain of infinite mirror. Tree falling, no one would hear. Shadow of nobody there. Murders of murderers living in fear.
But that's pretty much the information I pretty much would, I almost want to say required to have, but I mean, if the clothing description is not known, that's fine. If a vehicle description is not known or doesn't apply, that's fine. But just as much information as we can get, even like scars, birthmarks, tattoos, piercings, those kind of things help. Anything that would make the person easier to identify, if they dyed their hair a certain color, if it's cut a certain way, if they wear wigs, that's always helpful to know too. But, just like I say, anything that would help identify that person would be helpful. And then I just sit right down like I'm doing right now and just start, making the flyer and start typing. Man, it helps I can hit the right key. And one of my other passions outside of Kansas Missing is pro wrestling, and this is my main collection here of my pro wrestling stuff, my figures, belts, whatnot. Got a small autograph collection hiding in there somewhere. Yeah. So yeah, my dad got me hooked on it when I was 12, and it's been a passion ever since, just like missing persons. And I mentioned on the show before that I kind of combined the two, and I have a Kansas Missing Unsolved belt sitting over along the wall over there on my bookcase, kind of combining the two passions. So that's me in a nutshell.
For nothing at all. All for nothing at all. With something to do. I was in the forest looking to see the trees, but none were there.
We're driving in the neighborhood of where Nellie Hubbard was murdered. I'm unable to show the house because the family that currently lives there doesn't like the house shown. But we are driving around the neighborhood. She was found murdered in her living room on a cot that she slept in her living room, covered over by a sheet. The only evidence they found of her killer, or physical evidence, was a cigarette lighter that said "Vote," had red, white, and blue stars and stripes on it. My understanding was they may have found some DNA on a doorknob going out the back door of the kitchen. I'm unable to confirm that, but it's something I've heard.
They might have just put them outside for her, but
They might have. Gina Cyphers' unsolved murder was at. And you've seen the pictures on the flyers of her trailer house and stuff that I've got on the flyer and things like that. Wait till you actually get an up close and personal look at the area today. It's crazy. Yeah. Man, they need to mow it. They haven't mowed in a while. But yeah, over here on this south side, this used to be the trailer court. And somebody left a scooter in this. Ooh, I don't want to park in the broken glass. Go up here and turn around. Then I want to park in broken glass. Yeah, I just kind of picture trees and trailers and everything else here. There's one of the old phone boxes over there. Gina Cyphers' trailer used to sit about right here. This area right in here. So remember this wire, this cable, and this pole. But yeah, I used to sit right here in this empty lot. She was found murdered in the living room of her house by her boyfriend after she failed to pick up their son from a day out from mom's daycare type thing at a church. And the church called and said, hey, she never picked him up. And he come home and found her murdered in the living room of the trailer. Again, like I said, the trailers were close together, neighbors nearby, and nobody claims to have heard or seen anything. It's a tragic situation. You know, her little son had to grow up without his mom. I mean, he's an adult now, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he'd be an adult now. But, yeah. Hopefully we can help generate information on her case. You can see it's just a big, lonely, empty lot now as opposed to what it used to be with trailers sitting close together and, you know, neighbors having barbecues and stuff and things like that over here. But, you know, again, if you guys have information, Salina Police Department's number 785-826-7210.
Owls on the night watch, solemn and easily wise to what we thought they thought above. Sound broke below. They were in the black wood, coveting indiscreetly, her for him or him for her, shown what they were. I was in the middle ground, looking to find the fountain of infinite mirror. Tree falling, no one would hear. Shadow of nobody there. Murders of murderers living in fear. I was in the clearing, buzzing around to hearing what the bees and birds who knew the words. Soon arrived the twilight, finally the night and day remembered how they came to be.
Out here, 105 South Palmer's Road. I'd been about 14 years old when Nellie was murdered. I remember a buddy of mine was out jogging that day because he lived even closer to her house than I did. He was out jogging and the police saw him and actually stopped him and questioned him because he was just out jogging. I don't know if it was because he was jogging or just because he was in the area. I'm not sure. But yeah, I lived like 2.5 blocks away from where she was murdered at the time, which is kind of where I'm driving right now. I'm driving up the alley, coming up alongside of it here in a minute. My old childhood house. I don't know what that is in the alley up there, laying in the
mattress,
alley.
maybe.
I don't know if I can get around it or not. I'm gonna try.
I think you can get around it.
I don't think it's a cardboard box.
Yeah, I think we'd be all right.
Yeah, I can get around it. It's a TV box. This is where I used to live right here. This is the house I grew up in. We moved into it when I was about 10, and I lived there until I was about 27. But that was my old childhood house. And this was the old St. John's Hospital. It's no longer a functioning hospital. It's just an empty building now. Part of it where the nuns used to live right here is now the DVAC shelter. And this all used to be houses right here when I was growing up here. And I've torn most of them down to make that place. And there's still a few houses left on the corner down here, but it's changed a lot over the years in this area. 600 block of North 7th. It said 919. Which is going to be on this side. Oops, stop sign. Almost didn't see that. I don't want to run it. Wow, she lived up here. Wow. Okay, 700. Must be on up here. That's Woodland. Must be the next block on the other side of Pacific, apparently. And we are getting up north. North End's always had a reputation of being kind of a sketchier part of town.
Really?
Yeah. Especially that direction. There's some like small little hotels up in this area you don't want to really get around. Me and my brother both did Citizens Academy at the police department one year, and my brother was doing a ride along with the officer, and they were coming up Broadway over there, and they drove by this one hotel, and the officer's like, well, Mr. Such and Such is here. I wonder if Mrs. Such and Such knows he's here.
Right there, huh?
Yeah, it would have been
919.
Yeah, would have been that one. Said she was attacked in the house, tried to crawl across the driveway for help, and died in the driveway. That's why they ruled it a homicide, because she died after the attack. But this would have been the house here. Mildred Hawks. Oh, hello, little doggy. Wow. I wonder if the people who live there now know about that. But yeah. I'm trying to remember what year that was. Let me look real fast and I can tell you what year that was. I think I still have it on my screen. It would have been October 31st, Halloween night, 1987. So that would have been quite a while ago. And again, no suspects, no persons of interest or anything like that, unfortunately. So again, Salina Police Department's the 785-826-7210 would be the place to call on that one. Also, see if I can dig up Tom Young's address here, where he was at. This would be the location where Tom Young was found murdered in what used to be a club called Raggedy Ann's back in 1977, July 11th, 1977. Was found shot, my understanding, execution style in the club. Again, no suspects, no persons of interest, a lot of rumor, but nothing conclusively. And again, if you have any information on his case, phone number again, 785-826-7210, and I wish I could remember KBI's number. I've been trying to remember it through all these video clips, but I can't think of it. But at least call the Salina Police Department and let them know. That's the first time I've ever actually been over here and looked at this building. Now I know where it's at. But yeah, it's still in the Young family. The Youngs still own it. His brother runs I believe it's a contractor business out of it. With the same location that his brother was murdered in. I found it interesting they decided to keep it in the family and keep it as a business. They have come up on the location where Lori Heimer was murdered in her home Out here at 10525 South Hopkins Road. Out here in this area, rural area. Should be that house right there.
We probably should not go in there.
No, I'm not. At 10525 South Hopkins Road out here in rural area. When I turn around here.
Okay.
It was my understanding it was a very brutal murder. Her husband had gone out into the field to harvest that day. And I don't remember if it was him that found her or one of their daughters that found her in the home. But according to the Kansas cold case playing card of her case, she was found stabbed to death. She had a business called Lori's Poodle Patch where she bred and sold poodles, and they're not sure if that was connected to her death in some way. It's been a pretty quiet case. There hasn't been anything really recent as far as information on her case. It's been very quiet. Would like to try to change that and generate some information on her case if possible. I would like to see somebody held accountable for that. Because I was understanding, I mean, to be murdered in your own home like that, you know, when you live there with your husband and your 4 daughters, I mean, that's just crazy.
He found a girl, she found the Earl King. They were in the white wood, gambling out to picnic. In the light, leaves broke above, then fell below. I was in the middle ground, looking to find the flowers in the garden, wearying of the hate me not. Wait, they forgot. Whoa, oh, the rot. Deeper in they crept, oblivious of the bears and darker tears. Oh, none were there. How did they dare? I was in the middle ground, looking to find the fountain of infinite mirror. Tree falling, no one would hear. Shadow of nobody there. Murders of murderers living in fear. Owls on the night watch, solemn and easily wise to what we thought they thought above. Sound broke below. They were in the black wood, coveting indiscreetly, her for him or him for her, shown what they were. I was in the middle ground, looking to find the fountain of infinite mirror. Tree falling, no one would hear.
Hello, this is Tebrugge. I do the Kansas Missing Unsolved Facebook page and podcast. And we're out here at the Salina Central Mall, 2259 South 9th Street in Salina, spreading awareness on missing persons and unsolved homicides. Basically, how I got into Kansas Missing Unsolved and missing persons was when I first got on Facebook. People started sharing missing persons flyers, and I was seeing more news feeds, so I would share them, and the more they shared, the more I shared. And then I started helping a couple pages that asked for my help, and they taught me how to make the flyers, things of that nature. And then after a couple of years, I decided I wanted to do my own thing. So I started Kansas Missing Unsolved on April 28th of 2012, and we're 13 years strong. It's just been a passion of mine for a long time. I feel like it's been a God-led thing, and I do it to the best of my ability. The other feature of our Kansas Missing Unsolved tables is we have several binders covering several different cases. This particular binder, I just have my flyers in it from different cases. Anthony Siniscali, missing from here in town, since August 17, 1987. This was an unsolved homicide. Robin Annie Green, she was formerly a Jane Doe, only known as Miss Molly. They did find the ID here, but still no resolution of her case. We have Lori Heimer, unsolved homicide from this area of Kansas, June 25th, 2016, still unsolved. Mildred Hawks, Halloween night, 1987, still an unsolved murder. Tom Young, July 10th, 1977, still unsolved. And Nicole Ford, another one, October 18th, 2008. And so these cases need solved, they need resolutions. Why we highlight these is to let folks know these cases are still unsolved, still need resolutions. Try to do our best to remind people, hey, there's still people out here that need answers. So if everybody could please do me a favor, if you ever see any of our flyers in your newsfeed on Facebook, share those flyers, please, because one share could honestly save a life. Interestingly, I do use Windows Paint on my computer to make all my flyers. It's a pretty easy program to use. That's how I was taught on, was to use that. I just basically, crop photos, resize them down to what I need them to be, and put them on the flyer and add the information, the QR code, and then I post them. But Paint's a pretty easy program to use. I've had people suggest Adobe Acrobat, things like that, which I'm not really a tech guy, so I just keep it simple for myself and just use Paint. It's pretty easy. Part of what we do at the Kansas Missing Unsolved table is we do the child, we give out child ID kits. So in the event that your child does go missing, you'll be able to fill this information out and have it really available for law enforcement. Description of your child, photo, fingerprints, any kind of special needs or anything like that on there. And to go with that, we also have a companion handout on what to include with the child ID kit, like x-rays, medical records, DNA, that kind of thing. Any information to have with the child ID kits, we provide those here at the table and help free of charge. So if you're on a job and that's something you might want to grab a hold of, feel free. Just grab one for free. That's something I've been doing since I started doing this.
In this house right here on the corner up here, right here with the fenced yard, that's my 96-year-old great uncle.
Really?
Yeah, he still gets out here in Moses' yard on his rider. And we're going to talk about Catherine Adams' case. She went missing on April 29th, 1993. From this location, Quick Shop, although it didn't look then like it looks now. It was a lot smaller building, closer to Crawford than it is now. Had 4 pumps as opposed to I think like 10 now. But this was the location as she was last seen on surveillance video, backing out the door with the newspaper in one hand and the coffee in the other hand. And we're going to show all the pertinent locations to her case. And this is where, this is where she was last seen. We're going to use this as the starting point. And then we're going to go out to where she would have, after she gassed up and got her newspaper and coffee, where she would have gone next, which would have been what was known then as Triplet Storage. It was called All City Storage now, I believe. That's the next location we're going to go. As soon as we get around the gas pumps here. This is another feature of this Quick Shop that did not exist in 1993, is this entrance exit onto Centennial. This did not exist in 1993. We're good? Okay, now we're on Centennial, and this would have been the route that she would have taken to go to the storage facility where she was attacked, where they found blood on the ground, the storage unit open. I believe they found some shell casings on the ground as well, and evidence that somebody tried to hurriedly clean up the scene, but aborted that, apparently to get her body in the van and take the van, which we'll get more into that after we get out to the storage facility here. I have never been able to narrow down which row the storage unit was in, because there are several, but I do know the facility, so I'll show you the facility here shortly. And then I'll show you the location where her van was found the day after she went missing as well. And even though it seems like a direct from here to there and there to here, you have to keep in mind that whoever attacked her and apparently disposed of her body drove the van for a total of 60 miles before leaving it where it was found. So he didn't just drive from the storage facility, dump her body, and then park the van. He drove around for, well, I say he, but we don't know if it was a he or she, but so he drove around a considerable length of time before he parked the van. So we'll get into all that as we go. We're headed out to the storage facility location now. I won't be able to get into the actual facility because you have to have a gate code to get into it, and I do not, because I'm not a customer of this storage location. I do do have a storage locker at another location from another facility in another part of town. It's not this one. No, it's not this one. A little bit further up the road here. There's a lot of storage places here in Salina. As soon as we get up to that light up there, I'm going to make a quick left and pull to the side, and you can see the storage location here. Up here to the red light here. I figured this would be the best place to show it because I can't get into the facility, but you can see a good shot of it from the side. Or I can pull in here. Yeah, I'm going to pull in right here. It's actually, probably shouldn't, but I'm going to. It's actually the exit of the car wash here. But this is the storage facility. Like I said, I don't know which row she would have been in at the time when she was attacked, but this was the facility. It's called Citywide Storage now. Back then it was Triplet. Again, they found blood on the ground, shell casings. Her van was not there. The storage facility was open. As it appeared, she was in the process of loading her merchandise to stock her legs pantyhose that day and was interrupted when she was attacked. Wish I could narrow down which row it is. I really do, but I don't know which row. I'm wondering if it's not some of these older ones back here maybe, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, this would have been where she would have been attacked and eventually body transported. And now we will go to where the van was found. See if I can get out of here. Is everybody coming from your way? What I did is probably just illegal as heck, but oh well. Alright, now we'll head back north in the direction we just came from. It's a very perplexing case because nobody's ever come forward with any tips or information or anything like that. I remember I was working at Bosselman's Truck Plaza at the time that happened, and a short time, I say it would have been, I think in 1990, I can't remember, a few months after she disappeared, I think it was, in 1993. Detectives came out to the truck stop and they brought a composite sketch of the I-70 serial killer that had been killing in Indiana, Missouri, and down by Wichita back in 1992, and asked us to post it in the truck stop in 1993, and made me wonder in my mind, did they think maybe it was possible that that person was responsible for Catherine's disappearance? But I don't know. That's a whole other case. But it just made me wonder at that time, and I know that time, during that time we had a lot of rain, a lot of flooding. So I know if there would have been anything out there to find, I'm sure rain took care of washing away quite a bit of it at that point in time. I'm sure that was a big frustration for investigators having to deal with floodwaters. So I remember it flooded quite a bit in the western part of town, northern part of town. It was a pretty big mess back then. But we're headed back north on Centennial, where we just went south. And I always have to remind myself, even though it's a straight shot, that whoever did that to her, they did drive around considerable distance before taking the van to where they found it, which is Russell's Restaurant up here on West Point Boulevard. And at the time that she went missing and the van was found, which it was found on April 30th, Russell's was closed for remodeling at that time. And I come to find out through one Salina Journal article I read that the van was actually parked on the north side of the restaurant, which to me is pretty important because Dad concealed it from the truck stop on the south side of the restaurant. So, kind of makes me wonder, did they have somebody waiting to pick them up there when they dropped the van off? Did they already have a vehicle pre-planted there? Or did they just simply walk away? I mean, there is, a trailer court behind Russell's also, which you can see part of it right there. So it's just really hard to know. A lot of unanswered questions, and I've been hoping for all these years, it's been 32 years, that somebody would have some kind of information that they would finally be willing to put out there to help move this investigation forward, being that it's been 32 years. A little over now, because it's May 18th, I think. Whoa. Sorry.
Good, you're good.
I'm a little ahead of myself there. Okay. And we're getting ready to turn to where Russell's is, just right up here. This sign. That's Graves. This is West Point, Westport. Okay. And as you can see, of course, Russell's sign's getting pretty tore up by the wind there. This is Russell's restaurant down here. And as you can see, we got another restaurant over here that was there back then. There's a hotel back here. But Russell's is over here, and according to the Salina Journal accounts, the van, this pickup would move. I don't believe that was there at the time. This cross point, I don't think that was there. The van was found parked on this side of the restaurant right here. This would be the north side of Russell's. So it conceals it from the truck stop on the other side. I'm not sure where exactly it was parked along there, just on the north. And I said this restaurant was closed at that particular time for being remodeled. It's just a very busy location this morning. There's the truck stop right there. Back then it was called 24/7. Now I think it was a triplet or Amico back then. But still, same truck stop. I believe the pump configuration was pretty much the same. And as you can see, there's a Subway over here. I don't recall whether that was there in 1993 or not. Might have been. I don't remember. But yeah, that's where her van was found, and it was blood soaked on the inside, mud splattered along the bottom portion of the van and the wheel wells on the outside. Never have heard anything as far as whether they were able to lift any prints, whether they found any other DNA besides hers in it. That kind of information has never been released or talked about, so I have no idea. But again, Salina Police Department would be the place to call, 785-826-7210, and let them know what you know about her case if have any information at all, no matter how small it might be.
Look at what you've done now to me. Get tired and ornery. I'm leaving today. Thinking of the way I used to spend the time. I can see that I have overpaid. Past is past, and rather than regret the old, I can move it back the other way. Just look at what you've done now to me. Free floating temporarily. I'm leaving today. I avoid the messiness of misery. Playing in dimensional performance.
I've worked in retail now for just about 30 years. I started back 1995. So yeah, about 30 years now. I liked it, obviously, or I wouldn't have stayed with it for so long. Did Sears for 22 years, and now I'm with my current employer. I don't know if I should mention the name or not, because I don't know if they want associated with us, but I've been with them for 8 years now. So, yeah, about 30 years overall. It's been fun. I'm currently in the electrical department, where I was in hardware for a long time, and then I went back to cabinets and appliances and did cabinet and countertop design for a while, and then moved to electrical. So that's where I'm at now, is electrical. Basically customer service, looking for things that are out of stock to see if they're coming in, and put away freight when it comes in. Always training. I'll pick a random off KBI and make it off of that. Just because the shoes she was wearing, she's at her friend's house, and she spent the night. Took her shoes off, now she can't find them.
That's the daughter that had a seizure yesterday?
Do it?
That's the daughter that had the seizure yesterday?
Yeah. To me, it's probably one of the biggest, I don't know, transformations from between then and now. Only because back then it was a trailer court, the trailers pretty close together and stuff. And today, nothing. You'll see her in just a minute. Did you find motor boxes?
I couldn't find it. When we stop, I'm gonna have you look on I'll let you log into the KMU page.
I still have my oldest daughter living with me. She's special needs, my 20-year-old. So she lives with me so I can take care of her and make sure she gets her medication like she's supposed to, gets her to her appointments like she's supposed to, because she needs that structure and guidance. Independently, she can't do it on her own. So I have to make sure I'm there.
Anything else you want to add?
I can add, let's see. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could add, we talked about it before, but, I started Kansas Missing and Unsolved back in April 2012. I've been doing it 13 years. If you could call it a job, I guess that would be a dream job. It's not really a job, it's a passion. But I just enjoy being there to help people and help find the missing, and try to be there for families and let them know that there are people out there that do care, that don't ask for anything in return, that just want to help, and that's it, basically.
He was in the forest looking to see the trees, but none were there. He found a girl, she found the Earl King. They were in the white wood, gambling out to picnic. In the light, leaves broke above, then fell below. I was in the middle ground, looking to find the flowers in the garden, wearying of the hate me not. Wait, they forgot. Whoa, oh, the rot. Deeper in they crept, oblivious of the bears and darker tears. Oh, none were there. How did they dare? I was in the middle ground, looking to find the fountain of infinite mirror. Tree falling, no